pronouncing this right, K-Mac.
Oh, it's okay.
Wait a minute.
I've been called worse.
Proof positive. Well, that would be bad if I said, yeah, well, you're a guy, because that would just sound racist. Like, I guess a lot of people right now are upset with the comment that Miss Michelle Obama made, referencing Donald Trump to a weekend at a divorced dad's house.
Yeah, I read about that.
And I was like, here you go. Every word that comes out of people's mouths nowadays becomes scrutinized. You're a comedian, do comedy. And it's like there was another one where a young girl got upset over the ugly something rooster or something chicken or some pet that she had that a comedian was making fun of. And first of all, the guy was like, well, why did the parent let her watch it? If she was that upset about her ugly pet, because they, Instagram posts that people get on.
Yes.
So I'm like, across the board, comedians are being more and more and more limited as to like some group is offended. I always thought that's where you did your best.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, that never crosses my mind when I do comedy. I just do what I think is funny, and I feel like if it's funny, you can get away with anything.
Because you can imagine, right? Somebody's mother in the audience. Because how many mother jokes do people do? How many ex-boyfriend and girl? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I've heard that you're saying that, Sonny. It's politically incorrect about mothers, Matt. Right?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, you get away with any as long as it's funny, you can get away with it.
Right.
Now, if it's not funny, then they'll start scrutinizing it even more.
Even if it, like I said, what amazes me is the territory that comedians will cover. Like you yourself, what is usually your subject matter?
Well, I kind of tend to focus more on myself and observational comedy, things in my family. I've been married a long time, so it's my family, my wife, my kids.
Right.
Dealing with parenting
and no one's ever said, like your wife or anyone said, well, that they feel this or that way towards.
Oh, all the time.
What?
My wife hates it. She hates a lot of my jokes.
You're talking about me?
Because she takes them so personal.
Right.
And she has to understand that, they're just jokes. They're not even real.
Sorry, Tom.
Yeah, I just exaggerate stuff, and she just there's a lot.
Oh, that's hilarious. That whole thing is like, okay, you can either come to my show, or you can just stay home and watch the rerun someday.
Right. I prefer she.
And then
come to my show.
And then she would, and then we're on camera. And then she would want, hey, where's my check? Because my mother had seen a clip of what I did, and she said, I expect to get paid, right?
Yeah, I guess you use their name in this kid.
Creative, yeah. What do they call that? Creative freedom as far creative licensing.
Yes,
creative licensing. Yeah, man. So how was your week? Was this not like a freaking week or what?
Yeah, it feels like it. You talking about last week?
Well, whatever week, because I know you just started a new job. You were saying.
Yeah, I did, man. I've been on this new job about 6 weeks now. Oh, it's crazy. It's crazy. It's a lot more responsibility than I'm used to. I'm actually a manager this time. I've never been a manager. You should have known
when they said manager, it's going to be clean up on aisle 9, 10, 11, and 12.
Yeah, it's a lot different, man, and it takes a lot of time away from work. Now it's like I have to battle. I have to find a good work-life balance between my job, my home life, and then my comedic life. And
that's the other thing, you guys. This man has a full-time job and still the comedy grind. And what I love about you is that when you decide to get into comedy, and you just have been accomplishing incredible things in a time frame that a lot of youngins or fresh newbies are going, how the hell is he doing that?
Yeah.
How this guy, what? Now what's he doing now? Yeah, you're that guy.
Yeah, I'm going into my third year.
Wow, that's right. Yeah, and which is nothing, by the way. Like, everybody's going like, third year.
I know, but I'm built for this. Even more so than any other thing I do in my life. Comedy, I'm built for that. I've been doing this my whole life. My mother was funny. My brothers were funny. It just come from a funny family. When I told my friends I started doing comedy a few years ago, they was like, man, what took you so long? They weren't surprised at all.
You have, I've seen your act. You do have a knack for it. I thought you were like a lifer watching you do what you do. And your confidence is probably the first thing. A lot of comedians say that's the hardest thing to what they work on is having the confidence to be themselves and let their truth fly.
Yeah, that is. Well, actually, I still deal with that. I may not be especially when I started, I wasn't confident as I seemed.
Right.
Part of it has to do with me being older, so I've been through a lot in my life, and then in my personal life and in my jobs, I do a lot of presentations. I talk in front of crowd. So and I used to be in a band, so I'm used to being on stage. Yeah, I was in bands for years. Yeah.
So, but even that said, because I was a singer, it's totally different.
Yeah, it is. It's
totally different when you're
nervous
comedy,
then too.
Right?
Yeah, it was a good thing. I'm a keyboard player.
Oh wow!
So it was good that I played keyboard. I used to always tell my friends and family this, that the audience couldn't see my legs shaking. Because a lot of times, especially when I first started, I used to be so nervous. I still get nervous now when I go on stage.
You never know it when you see him up on stage. He's very, very comfortable. Although you like the first time I had to get up to do my first 5, there was a stool. Thank God, because I was off balance and it was just nerves. So having the stool first, put your hand on it, just sit down on the chair, you'll be fine.
Yeah.
Once I got seated on the chair, it's a total different feeling than standing with that mic. I don't know. There's something very vulnerable about nothing to hold on to.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, I can see that. Sometimes I sit down on stage. It all depends.
Right.
Depends on the vibe. Sometimes I sit down through my entire set, and then sometimes I'll stand. So.
Well, you as a person saying that your mother was funny, because I came from a funny family. Funny as fuck. My family, my mother. But there's a certain amount of the sarcasm can get a little bit, where you kind of go, all right, because, what was a comment my mother made once? I was at the sink, and it was after the holidays, and everybody goes on a diet after the holidays. Right. And my mother asked me, she said, "What's that crawling up your back, Annamarie?" And I'm like, "What?" So, I'm like, what is she talking about? She goes, "Oh, never mind, it's your ass." Just that way of
that's funny.
Good old mom, being able to let you know you just better keep that in check. But yeah, was your mother that way as far as teaching you a lesson?
All the time, man. She'd come. My friends would come to the door, and she would scream like, "Who is it? Who is it?" And they'd run off, not so, and she would just laugh. She just thought that was the funniest thing in the world. And my dad, my brothers, we're just known as always telling jokes. Talking about our friends, what they called the dozens back then.
Really?
Yeah, that's all we did. Stand out in front and talk about each other. That's how we, shared our friendship.
Well, that would too. I would think that would develop, right? Get a little bit of a thicker, because it's like roasting. You like roasting each other, right?
It wasn't called roasting.
We would call busting. Don't bust my balls. Why are you busting my balls?
That's the East Coast, yeah.
Right, East Coast.
Over here, it was just called shooting on each other, or some people called it dozens.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it was basically the same thing.
Which the idea of making a room full of people laugh and to be on center stage holding that microphone and understanding that you're limited. I think that's the hardest part for me being on that stage was you've only got so much time to fit in a story until you're able to get your own special or your own that hour, which most comedians dream of, right?
Yeah, that's true. But you can remember, starting off, that 5 minutes seemed like an eternity. Especially it's not going well. You bomb. How much time I got? You got 3 minutes.
Right. Oh, well, no, I have to laugh at some of the comedians that, the light is absolutely blaring, clicking, but, you're done, it's your time. I think that's the greatest courtesy you can do at any show. If you're new, pay attention to that damn light, because the promoter, as you've been the promoter too.
Yeah, I
as
have my own
producer,
show.
And you have your own show.
Hosting, promote my own shows now.
Yeah. So how many minutes am I gonna get?
We'll have to discuss that. So generally, depending on the comics of the show, but it's usually spread out equally.
Right.
Usually somewhere
that's
10
pretty
to 12
cool.
minutes, 10 to 12 to 15 minutes.
And isn't it that you ask each one of them, because of that generous amount, that please respect the light?
Oh yeah.
Your pros do.
Yeah, you go over the what I call the rules of engagement before a show, and I have to tell you though, when I first started, and even now sometimes, if they don't tell you explicitly where to look, sometimes you may not see it. There's a lot of times
really?
I didn't see the light.
Right.
And then and I was accused of running the light. I would never run the light on purpose.
Oh, that's what they call it, running the light.
Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah, I have more integrity as a comic than that. So I would never purposely run the light. But the first few times when I started, I was so into it, I didn't even see it.
Really?
I didn't even see it. And then when I did see it, I thought it was the first time they shined it. But my buddy said, man, they had been shining that light for about 5 minutes.
Oh, well, I know that Nancy Bellany, shout out Nancy Bellany at the Ice House.
What's up, Nancy?
We will be having a show. I am actually opening the show April 20th, my own little plug, and I always forget to do that. All my friends are like, why are you always like celebrating everybody? Yeah. Her show's always sold out. And, you know, I like your friends, and you'll get this. Most comedians know this line. Man, I wish you would have told me.
Oh, yeah.
Because, you know, I would have it's sold out. I would have got tickets. And then you post it, and they're like, I got to get a tooth pulled. I got to get this. I mean, I do know people are legitimately busy.
Oh, yeah. People come up with some of the most outlandish and excuses on why they didn't show up to the show. And I'm like, you know, I don't need all that.
Well, but you also know this, right? And I really do believe this. It's like you diss yourself if you have the opportunity to go see a comedy show, you're doing your body good.
That's right.
You're doing your body. It should be required, just like you go to the gym, that you have to fit in an hour of comedy. I don't care if you're watching tracks on YouTube or if you're going to a comedy show, if you're watching Instagram. You're watching your favorite. Yeah, man, it is amazing. Like, people don't realize, like, if you actually ask people, you know, when's the last time, and they'll tell you, oh man, I haven't laughed that hard since. Really? Well, you need to get another life, because people, like, it's not right. It's like your everyday joy that you've actually said that you haven't experienced. It's like, it's not sex, people. It's laughter.
That's right.
Get as much as you can while you can.
I love to laugh. It's all that. I mean. At work, my guys, we just laugh.
Oh, and I bet they were so bummed when you left, right?
Yeah.
When you love that feeling? Like, people are generally like, what am I going to do now?
Yeah, they miss you. They miss all that laughter, right?
Right. Yeah. Because you bring that to and I mean, I'm sure you have people in your life that you understand that joy of being around that person, and you understand the misery of like, oh man, no, look busy, look anything, put your head down, don't make eye contact, right? You gotta go, get on the cell phone.
Yeah.
Thank God for cell phones.
Yeah, right. Just the point, like, hey, I can't talk right now.
I gotta go. Yeah, right.
Yeah, you're right. You know, I was thinking that, you know, I hang around with a lot of comics too. You know, and all we do is laugh and tell jokes. This is one thing funny about being around comics. Because you almost have to copyright the conversation. Because
yes, you know, they tell me that on the show all the time.
Yeah, because you can just be talking and just say something funny,
shit down,
and they write shit down. Next thing you know, your conversation is used in their bit or a joke that you made. So, you know, now when you come with I got intellectual property rights if you come with my space.
Well, you know, that I actually do the piece that I do about the only guys asking me out are young brothers in their 30s. And when I asked my friend, it was Scruncho, that, you know, he was the one who made the comment when I was like, why is that? And he said, because, baby, you got what we need.
That sounds like Scruncho, too.
And I'm like, what could that be? And I went through a list, and he said, no, baby, it's your credit score. And that gave me really good. That joke actually worked. It's true, but it actually works on stage where I'm not insulting brothers. I never would do that. I know broke ass white people too, but it's just like it's just funny.
It's a funny joke. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. I don't take any of that stuff personal, man.
Now,
you know,
when you're on stage, do you do jokes where you use the term white people?
All the time.
Okay.
No, but you know, not real. Sometimes I infer it without actually saying it. So there are times when just the situation, they know who you're talking about. So I try not to say it too much because so many black comics, white people this, black people that, white people this.
We talked about that.
So I kind of try to break that mold somewhat. But there are certain things that we talk about that, hey, you got to talk about it.
No,
you know,
absolutely.
Fun, right?
It is. Yeah. It's fun when you talk about cultural difference. Like, I wanted to do the idea of a sketch where I'm going to switch bodies and, you know, like Freaky Friday, but the person ends up waking up me white and I end up waking up them black, and seeing the you know, I've talked about this and working that out. And the first thing I'm going to do as a black woman stuck in a white woman's body is I'm going to make this potato salad that I, as a white woman, I show up at a black party, and they can't believe how the fuck this white woman made such incredible potato salad, because almost every other show I've been to, there's a black comedian talking about white people, please don't make potato salad.
Like, put the raisins in
Put the raisins, and what is it, parsnips, and you got to, what's that green little garnishing stuff that you put in there? Oh, that's parsley. We're pulling that out of my teeth. Yeah. I don't need the guy goes, I don't need my farts freshened up.
That's funny.
Right? Right.
Funny. Yeah.
So, the whole idea of what's cultural funny, okay, and what is just a generalization. I think that's what I get upset about. Like, what could apply to everybody shouldn't be put here. Because, unity, that. I mean, get on a serious note with what happened. Everybody talking about, I told you I was Slauson and Crenshaw, the office that I was working on. There is a vibe in the air, and you do feel that you can't. It was real heavy on my heart, because I'm like, it's beautiful. It's a beautiful day. And that day was like today. And the legacy, and like, everybody's saying, we should really worship the people, not worship, cherish the people, and give credos credit and follow the example of, and not wait till people pass or something horrific as an assassination happens. But that's been like throughout history. Is it like human nature that we throw up the stoplight after the kid gets killed in the crosswalk? It's like then we acknowledge everything that's wrong about the situation?
It seems like it. I mean, it appears that's the way it is. Like you said, it's historical.
It is historical.
And anyone that, even look at Martin Luther King in his time. I can remember, I was a kid. I grew up during that time.
Me too.
And I can remember my parents, and being African American, those who can't see me, being African American, growing up in a family, I can remember some of my relatives not liking Martin Luther King during that time.
Really?
Yeah.
Now, see, that to me comes as
right,
because that was the first black man I ever saw.
Yeah, and the reason why is they thought he was making things worse.
Isn't
because
it funny
there was
perception?
a blacklash.
Oh, I like that word.
Yeah, there was a blacklash to his actions, and they thought that it heightened and made white people resent them even more. It made things harder for them. So there was a whole group of people like that.
But there's always that price when you're talking about, and that's where. Okay, this is what I've never understood about human nature. People will say it's too much, it's too hard, like the family of the kingdom of Yahweh, which I belong to. Mm-hmm. Global peace, okay, helping those who can't help themselves, a movement of love. I call it one encounter at a time. My actions represent. In other words, we are created. You are God, and so am I. We all created in His image.
I believe that.
All of that. They say God is within you. Okay.
I believe that.
Then you are an extension of that divine. There's a lot of people who don't want you to know how smart you really are.
Right.
And that means everybody. And without unity, they will always rule. They will always rule the gold. And it's just like kind of funny how people will go and they'll try and say that's too hard. That's such a big, that'll never happen. It's too big, it's too hard. And I think, how could anything be harder than what we're living right now as a people?
I agree.
It's like, that's an excuse. It's not that it's hard. It's just an excuse for you not to change. And it isn't a big change. It's one deliberate act of kindness. Not random, deliberate act of kindness. Try and do that once a day, okay? And I guarantee you, at the end of your bank, you're going to be the one who's wealthy of mind, of heart, and of spirit because of it. I believe that. And yet when I talk to people, people are so us, them, right?
Right. Well, partly because that is how the powers that be want it.
Right.
Divide and conquer, keep us, all the people fighting over. Well, we're like, they're taking this. They're taking our crumbs. They're taking their crumbs. The problem is, why is it we only have crumbs to fight over in the beginning?
Right.
And that's what we should be thinking about. I look at all humanity. Being, growing, I grew up a Christian Baptist, and I still practice that.
That's a very, that's a very, man, I respect you for that.
Yeah. And, there's part of me that had to wrestle with that because, You know, I have the scientific mind, and then I have the spiritual mind. And so the reconciliation of those two, it was hard for me. You know, because it didn't make sense.
Right.
Because you read the Bible in the literal, it does not make sense.
And it's not meant to be read like that. You know that, right?
And then I kind of figured out, how does God work? And then one day I was driving down the 405, and I realized what it was. I had been, to back up just a little bit further back, as I had been reading, doing some studying on quantum mechanics and quantum theory, and how basically when you magnify things, all matter, and you magnify it like this table, and you magnify this to 1,000,000 times or however, it's not solid. It looks like it's solid here. But you go down far to the subatomic level, the atoms are so far apart that it's not solid. But here, it looks solid to us. So this is an illusion of being solid. And so the things that bind the molecules together, you have atoms, and atoms make molecules, right? So the atoms, the only thing that bind the atoms together is light. Light, that's what's real.
Right.
Right? That's light. And that's what light is in every single thing in creation, whether it's this, all that's bonding these atoms and molecules together is light. And then I thought in the Bible, one of the first things was creation, said, let there be light. And I think a lot of people mistakenly think it's like turning on a light switch or the sun or the stars.
Sun, right. No, that's not what that
light.
meant.
It is the light that binds and is on all creation. And I think that light is what is God. Because that's the only thing that is truly real. And that light is what is in every single thing. It's in all of us. It's in this table. It's in this microphone. It's in everything. And that's when they say God is in everything. To me, that's what it means. And it makes God so much bigger than it is in the Bible, because they try to ascribe it as like a physical being or somebody sitting up on a cloud looking down. It's so much bigger than that.
Right. It's nothing to do with that.
It's so much bigger than that.
And it's also an incredible intelligence of the mind that we don't even... There's so much more to that. The way that your mind...
That's true.
And the way that you have to really... And think about that. Like in the Jewish culture, is it the Hasidic, the Jewish, whatever, they study is it the Quran?
No,
is it
the Jewish have the Talmud and the Torah.
Okay, and I mean that's like you're talking like the way that a lot of religions, and I say religion because that's a whole nother organized thing that I'm not. I believe in a lifestyle. It should be a lifestyle, not like a box that you can put it in as religion. What they ask of religion, anyways. But they spend their entire life. Right, that's man-made because that's what we want to do. We have to make it a corporation. God, LLC.
Give it some rules and regulations.
Give it some rules, regulations. Hey, what about hell? Yep, put hell in there.
Yeah, so we can exalt some other people and put other people down.
Yeah, you have this, like I said, and I have nothing but respect when I listen to people. Most people fascinate me that are, and I'm going to say this, the creative mind, what I love about comedians is the value of their ability to take words in such a way and structure them that not only make you laugh, but also make you it reflects you or someone else, or it makes you rethink.
Right.
And I find that to be some of the most brilliant comedy, the comedians that actually you walk out of there and you've learned something about life, politics, something that you can take with you. And I think most comedians like the idea that after the show, there were people discussing what you said. Am I right?
That's right. And that's funny you say that, because that kind of shaped how I first got into comedy and the bits that I used to do. I used to do this joke about my grandfather's penis. Right. I used to do this joke about my grandfather's penis. It was a funny bit, right? But after the show, people would want to talk to me about that.
Your grandfather, really?
Yeah. And I thought to myself, this is not what I want. I don't want to be known as the grandfather dick. Because they want to come, oh man, your granddaddy's dick, man. You know what I'm saying? I like, man, you know what? I really don't want to have this conversation, but you brought it up, right?
Oh.
So it's like, eh.
Now, is it your mother's father or your father's father?
It was my father's father.
Yeah, I can hear that. Hey, I saw your boy was talking about your dad's tip. What?
Yeah, this is a funny bit. I'm almost inclined to do it. It's a funny joke, but I'm not going to do it. But I used to do those jokes. I used to do that joke.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, feel free.
I can't do it. I can't do it. I can't go back to that. He's dead now anyway. He was alive then when I used to do it. Yeah.
Did he have a comment on
that? No, he never knew I did it. He never knew that I did that joke.
Well, he do now.
Yeah,
right.
He's watching.
That energy's hanging somewhere, right? You walk with that.
Yeah. So I just said, you know what? I didn't want to be that kind. Because you start especially male comics, we all start off telling the same kind of jokes like we told when we were little. Either poop jokes or dick jokes. You know what I'm saying? That was it.
I want to elaborate on that. Mm-hmm. I used to work a bar. My mother had me work it because they're all construction guys, and a lot of cash was exchanged. And one of the stories that, guys talk very freely, and the women would be like, oh my God, you get to hear, so what do men talk about? And I go, you really want to know about? Okay, there's Anton who was talking about his cat who has a very combed tongue, and that when the cat was licking his balls by, not purpose, but he was deciding, oh, what a great feeling that was. That's what you're missing out on. Or you got, no. She says, I don't need to know anymore. I said, men, their conversations are funny, simple, and it's simple. It really is. There's nothing deep. No man has ever had to walk away from a man-to-man meet at the bar conversation and go, man, that conversation just never. You guys are each other's release because you understand a language that, I've been blessed as a woman to know this language, that you bust each other's balls, and it's a great stress reliever like women can understand.
Right.
The way women bitch about everything, men joke about everything and make it funny and just have a way of telling the story like, no, oh man, I mean, there's been guys where I'm sure when you meet with them, you're like, God damn, he's a bag of hammers. But bag of hammers?
Never heard that.
Never heard of that?
But I think I get the gist of it.
Get the gist of it. Carry a lot of dead weight.
Yeah,
but
I understand.
But I'm just saying that men.
I don't get out much.
Well,
a West Coast guy.
You have this humor about you. I've been blessed in my life because I think without a lot of stuff said that most of the guys in my life, to have them around meant it was fun. It was funny. And what was more fun was learning how to laugh at myself. I think that's the greatest gift you can give yourself is knowing how to laugh at yourself.
Yeah, you'll spend a lot less time crying.
Right. Well, or stressing out about what other people think.
That's for sure.
It's like somebody giving me shit. I'm writing down material, Yeah,
and I tell you, this comedy thing is really opened up my mind. I realize that it's changed me as you become a lot more reflective, right? And you start looking and because you start looking for the true motivation. That's where the funny comes from. We see people, and what is their true motivation for what they did or what they said? And when you start, it's like the peeling the layers, peeling the onion. And then that's where you get, when you peeled it down, that's where the funny is.
That's why I love my show. That's a gem right there with what you just said.
Yeah, that's what you have to do. And I find I do that same process with myself. And when I do things, so you become a deeper thinker, I think, by doing comedy.
Very much so. I'm amazed at a lot of, like I've said time and time again on the show, the personality difference from them telling a joke on stage and then you engage with them one-on-one. And some of the incredible conversations that I've had is that most of them are deep thinkers. They think and see things in a way that not many people do. And I think if they didn't get on stage, that's a madness that goes on in your head. And being on stage, you're able to release that, in a way that, I don't know about you, but have you ever found yourself like you're actually so quick, you hear it when other people do? That's how fast it flies out of your mouth?
Yeah, all the time.
Right?
Especially
that's what I grew up with.
You're like,
right?
Yeah.
Isn't that funny?
Yeah, it's almost like a fight. Man.
Yeah.
And that's another reason why I like comedy. It's so competitive. I used to be an athlete, too. Growing up, I was an athlete.
Now, see, that's the part that I really didn't... I guess, yeah, you're right. It's a very competitive.
Yeah.
Is that why comedians refuse to laugh when, there's not...
But it's not, see, that's not my competition. It's not me against you. It's me against me. It's me against the art. It's me against,
putting yourself up to the next level.
That's right. That's where the competition is.
That one person in the audience you notice isn't quite...
Yeah, and it's just, that's why I'm in it. I don't, of course, fame, fortune, all that would be great. But I'm in it now. I just want to become the best comic I can be. And wherever that takes me, I'm good. I'm okay with that. If it takes me, obviously it's taking me to your show. So I'm doing something right. But as far as any further than that, if that happens, I'm all for it.
So you understand, you understand what I call the joiny, Joy?
Yes.
N-E-E, Joni, enjoy it.
I love the art of it. To me, I'm a fan of comedy. I'm a comedy connoisseur. I like a lot of comics. They don't go to other comics. They don't go to comedy shows. Some don't watch comedy unless they're doing it. Me, I love comedy. I love watching comics. Because to me, I'm still learning. I just watch things and I try to get a little something from every comic that I respect. Like I watch comics all the way from Buster Keaton, who's silent comedy.
Yep.
All the way to, Hannibal Buress,
Kevin, or any of the other.
Kevin Hart, any of those guys, all the way to them. And everyone in between, the Red Skeltons, the Milton Berles, the Jack Bennies, the Dick Gregory.
You realize how blessed we were, because we're similar in age, how blessed we are, I should say that we have experienced a generation of comedians that these young comedians really don't understand. It's the purest, because they were restricted on a lot of things on TV. I mean, TV now, so much is, but you had to do comedy in a way that I think we've lost a lot of. It wasn't lazy comedy. You couldn't just fall to the dick joke, or there's like a formula that comedians use. Right. But it was so colorful. It was so brilliantly done. It was physical. A lot of comedians were very physical, and when they would get up on stage,
Yeah.
Believe it or not, even the way Chris Rock walks across that stage is him. Like anyone else would look like they were wandering aimlessly, but he looks as if he has that is him.
And Chris Rock he's a studied comic. You know what I mean? He knows about the Henny Youngmans and the Milton Berles and he knows about those guys. He knows that Henny Youngman, one of the king of the one-liners.
Oh my God!
And the Rodney Dangerfields and guys like that, and the Phyllis Dillers and the Don Rickles.
But the other thing that people don't understand, that these comedians also took what they did on stage and stand up and stepped into film.
Right.
And that's not easy. A lot of comedians struggle with that from what they say in that chair. It's not an easy transition.
Yeah, I agree.
And
I think it's also because it's like the comics. It's akin to like the basketball play, the athletes of today. Back then, the comics we had the building blocks of what they do now. They got kind of the finished product. They have the rush through version of it, and they got this, and then that's where they start. That's their starting point. But we saw the building blocks of all of this, so our fundamentals are better as opposed to like the athletes of the older athletes back in the day. Their fundamentals were a lot more fundamentally sound because they didn't have the athleticism. They didn't have that fast track to success or to So now the comedy's just like that too. They're not as solid from the top. That's why even these singers, right? You're not going to have a singer. These singers of today that's going to have a 40, 50-year career.
No.
You know what I'm saying? You're not going to see, even, no disrespect to Beyonce, but you're not going to see Beyonce at 50 or 60. Maybe.
No.
Maybe.
No.
But so much of what she does is like this. The Aretha's and the Gladys Knights and all those singers, they can sing until they're 60, 70 years old because they have the fundamentals and they're solid all the way through. They're not quite as solid. They're not built on as strong as a platform.
And nobody has that. They really, the references to like you say, the way things were back in the day, as far as, and it's more than that, as to with Instagram, and there's people that are becoming instant, they call it fame or whatever.
Right.
But even the guys that I talk to that are doing incredibly, shout out Big Ja, Troy in LA, Official Mings, King Batch, Sean G. Grant, just because I love Sean.
But they're not stand-ups. So,
but
right?
they're, they jump, not King Batch, but, and Big Ja's done some stand-up, not really as comfortable doing that. You find a lot of what they do, that ability to script write and act out their scenarios as being really funny, but it's almost like what they're acting out, it's like, how would you translate that if you were doing that as a stand-up on the stage? Yeah. And then there's a longevity, like you said, where's the next edge coming in? So where stand-up is always based on, you'll always do stand-up.
Right.
If you're good at stand-up, that stage, that microphone, you reinvent yourself with your words every time you get up there.
That's true. That is true.
Okay, you don't have to worry about filters and the sexy woman and the are 27 other people doing the black raging chick with a gun, which if I see, it's like everybody has a black chick pulling a gun out and pointing it at the guy's head, playing the batshit crazy woman.
Right.
It's like, in reality, a batshit crazy woman doesn't need a gun. All she needs is her mouth. Right? Am I right?
That's what they've had for years.
Right?
That's what mine uses.
Your mama didn't have, right? Yeah, your mama didn't have to pull out a gun. Get your father knew when he best just zip it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful thing, isn't it? And that reality too, as far as what it translates, like you said in stand up, telling those stories. My mother, oh my God, telling those stories of what we grew up with, the generational changes. Like, you could never get away with what my mother got away with back in the day. And I said, Ma, you know how lucky you are? And my joke is her response, this is a quote, what do you mean lucky? Nowadays, they at least take the children.
That's funny. Your mother's funny.
My mother is funny.
She is funny.
She spares nothing.
Funny.
But you have some stuff going on. Yeah. Your T-shirt, your Damn Right comedy show.
Yeah. This is the one I
That's
produced.
a sexy looking shirt you get on there. I like the colors.
Thank you.
Gold on blue is beautiful. I like it.
Yeah, I do all the flyers.
That looks like the old, what you would see in I like that.
Yeah, it's called a Broadway. This is a Broadway font.
Yeah, okay. See, I learned something else. I love my show, Tidbits again.
Then I use the typewriter underneath.
Oh,
so
yes.
It's like that.
I like that.
After it. That gives you that effect, even though you don't actually see it.
All by yourself?
Yeah.
Really? See that?
Yeah.
Talent
I do all my flyers.
And I have to say this, because I don't want to generalize, but this is most people that have the brain that this man has for the stuff that he does, like you said, the scientist of you, don't have also the creative as much as, like usually it's one or the other. Not that there isn't people. There's a lot of great, smart people. Al Yankovic is one of them. He's a very brilliant man.
Yes.
George Carlin was another very brilliant man. But I'm just saying, for the people that I've had in the seat, and if you know who you are, you know what I'm saying. You're not that bright. Right? It's like to have all of that, you can actually utilize that in creating, and that really is. I love the way the font is on that. And your show is, you're running another show that's coming up.
Yeah, April 27th. It's called You Damn Right Comedy Show.
And where's it going to be?
It's at the Ha Ha Club in North Hollywood on 4712 Lancashire Boulevard.
And
starts at 7 p.m.
Oh, that sounds like a show
Saturday.
I can actually Saturday.
Oh yeah, you're damn right. It is the funnest.
I've been trying so hard. I want to get to this, and you got a bunch of comedians on that lineup.
Oh, I got some great comics. I have one I can't say right now. He promised me he would show up. He's a big star that was on an HBO special that was a big hit, and they made a movie about it. I'm not gonna say much more than that without giving it away. And outside, I have some other funny comics. I always see the thing about our show is when you're there at my show, we're a family. It's a family.
Great vibe.
It's a family vibe, man. We party, we laugh. It's nothing but love, man. Like I one of the things I tell everybody in our show, I look at everybody in there. I know we're all from different places. We're like a big jigsaw puzzle, right? We shaped a little differently, we look a little differently, but yet we all seem to fit. And the more pieces we have of that big puzzle, the better off we're all going to be.
I'm going to do some. I I know one of my friends is actually I'm going to do some. We got to go. We got to go see support.
Come on,
I'm all about support.
It's
well, it isn't just
cool.
that. It's like we all kind of everybody knows the same circles. I've hit a lot of the people that I love the most in comedy. I try and make shows, and honestly, the perk is you get to go up as a comedian. You don't have to pay or all that.
Right.
But I got to tell you, you miss a lot when you're. I don't want to hear the noise. I'm not there because a lot of comedians are doing their own thing. I want to see what's going on that stage, and I also want to feel what's going on because it's all learning.
Yeah.
Like you said, what the audience is doing. If that vibe is what you has as a family on stage and what's going on, that's going to translate. And that's what energy does. So your shows have to be just.
Oh.
Write a prescription for yourself, people. Get off your ass and go.
Yeah, you're damn
all
right.
So quick to be banging those keys of I'm so pissed at the world, and with the sadness of what happened with the cathedral burning down to the ground.
Yeah,
okay, all I want to say.
And let's not forget about those 3 black churches that were burned in the South too.
Wait, come on now.
Yeah, there were 3 black churches that were burned just within the last month. Was that a month? A couple months? Yeah, and they were just talking about that today. That they've already been millions of dollars raised for the Notre Dame, the church, the cathedral in Notre Dame, and very little for these 3 black churches that's here in America.
That sounds like.
Let's not forget about those too.
That sounds like a comedy benefit to raise awareness.
There you go. So why don't we put something together?
Doesn't it?
Yeah, we can talk about that.
And I would like to say,
I don't hear anyone doing that.
When the house is burning, doesn't it burn your ass?
That's right.
That that should be something that I really think we should talk about because I know a lot of people that would be very heartfelt and would want to contribute because everybody's in that kind of like, and I'm sorry, I know there's a lot of Catholic people out there that might get a little pissy about what I'm going to say, but Catholic religion, Catholic church, you got enough damn money, okay? You can afford your lawsuits. I'm sorry. You can afford to pay the damn lawsuits and you can afford to build your own damn church. But there are people that are actually, and by the way, okay, I really do feel that the charities and the churches that give so much to the small communities, that's what these churches are. They are the center of small community that holds that small community together. Right. To me, that's something I would rather stand behind because, I always felt that the plate came like rigged with the gold plate to put your money in and then a ruler that would slap you in the back of the head if you didn't contribute in the Catholic Church, It's just, to me, all the news, everybody was talking about that, and we did lose a lot of history.
Oh, yeah, I'm not trying to, I'm definitely not, downplaying the significance of that
Let's talk
church.
about intelligence as a race.
Yeah.
The building was 800 and something years old. No rotted wood there. What if you ask me, would you like to put your valuables here? I'm thinking no. Right? No sprinklers, right? Nobody saw the inevitable tragedy. It's right?
Fire doors to separate none of that.
Yeah.
But that's what that 23-minute lack was before they was getting all that stuff out of there.
You know
what I'm saying? They was getting all that stuff out of there. Well, they said they were moving that stuff out because there was a 23-minute delay from when the alarm first, to the second alarm, and so it just burned for 23 minutes, right? But they would just making sure they got all that stuff out of there.
I find that very relevant. That with everything that's going on in the world, that I know there's a joke work in there somewhere with all the violations that the Catholic Church has done. That one of the biggest, right, most monumental symbols, because we're not supposed to be worshiping that shit, burnt down to the ground. And I'm not saying, it's a tragedy. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying it's not a tragedy. It's just tragic, something that goes on in my head about, when God said, vengeance is mine.
Yeah, that's true. Vengeance is mine, says the Lord.
Right. That's what I mean, right?
That quick. Yeah. It was yesterday.
That's crazy.
That was yesterday.
Billionaires in France start writing checks.
That was yesterday. A fraction of that money could rebuild those churches down here in the South.
That's
I think we got about $700 raised for those churches down there.
But that's right. But that's, to me, because I'm sorry, that church doesn't need what, you know what I mean? It's like, isn't that their tax write-off anyways?
Yeah, it's a big tourist thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get it. You know what I mean? And that's so much. We don't want to lose things with that much history.
No, we don't.
You know?
I'm not saying
but
that.
Just so you see, that's also that's kind of like what comedy today.
Right.
That building stood for 800 years. Right? No. It was 800 years. That building stood for 800 years. You think these buildings that we build now are going to stand for 800 years?
Oh, hell no.
No. It's because they were built with a stronger foundation and better materials.
Even back then.
Even back then.
But pyramids, too. I mean, those are still standing.
Yeah.
I mean, let's go figure. But there was also, like, Michelangelo painting the Sistine Chapel, right? That was like a sentence, penance, or, like you were whipped into religion. Like, I'm just like, how many times people say, well, that's a cult. And I'm like, yeah, well, I'm kind of thinking what you belong to as a cult. Because it was more murdering and more, and let's face it, as a black man, the blue-eyed Jesus should never be hanging in a, I mean, what is that?
I know, we whipped in believing that.
What is that? Woolly hair, it says in the Bible, woolly hair and bronze, and somehow.
But that wasn't the picture you saw.
Right, no, blue-eyed Jesus hanging, I'll never forget that, going to my black friend's house, and I'm like, hey, blue-eyed Jesus hanging out here, too. It just struck me as so weird.
You had 3 pictures in your house, usually.
Right.
Jesus, JFK, Kennedy, and Martin Luther King.
Right. Even that,
Those were the 3 pictures you had in every black household. Sometimes they were velvet. Yeah.
Oh, God.
Remember the velvet ones? Yeah.
Velvet Jesus.
Velvet Jesus.
Velvet Jesus.
That's funny.
On my wall.
Okay,
yeah,
I'm taking that one.
Velvet
Jesus.
You have this thing that as culturally that about I do, I know my family history, but at some point I would have to imagine, like I keep asking black people, when did the white people when did it just, because I'm just saying culturally, like pasty white people, I've met them, they're weak, they get sicker, their skin don't look so good.
I don't know.
When did it? What?
Everyone's had a chance to run the world. They had the African continent with the Egyptians.
Yeah,
they ran it. Then you had the Chinese that ran it at one point.
Right.
Then you had Rome. Rome has been running it ever since. Right? Since Rome's got it, they've been running it ever since.
Okay.
Because we're still in Rome now. Right?
Pretty
much.
Still
the Roman Empire, so to speak. Yeah. So, you guys had it the last 2,000 years.
And wait, don't forget, yeah, right.
So everybody's had their time. The only thing is, I think now with Trump in office, that it's not going to change. He's going to blow it up for a change at this point, right? Before he give it up, he'll blow it up.
It is the most, I would have to say, emotionally charged conversations. I've had friends that have just totally lost their minds over everything that man. And I'm like, at this point, whatever he does, how do you act like, I can't believe? What can't you believe? The same person that opened his mouth and said those things, grab the pussy, is the same person that you still can't believe he's one-upping himself. He is the genius of imbecilism. He's brilliant.
Yeah.
He's a freaking genius at being an imbecile.
Yeah, that's true.
So, and he's got so many people that's, like I said, my friends that I've looked at, and I thought, you were really intelligent until this moment in my eyes. And then what? Like, if you want to tell me this is my party, I'm Republican, but that I'm not akin to. But it brought a lot of shit up from the surface that I didn't know was there. I never knew how ugly it really is until this man. Maybe we needed that. Maybe we all needed to step it up an awful lot to see where we're gonna go. Because everybody's already talking about the next election, and I'm like, wait, he's not done ruining everything yet. What's your hurry?
Yeah, I don't know what's going to happen with that, but it's funny. Like I said, I watch it every day. I'm into it every single day. I can't help myself. I watch CNN every day. I get home from work. I watch it.
Do you really?
Just
amazing. But isn't it like letting a bunch of kids like this is what my idea why I wouldn't run for president. It's like letting a college kids run amok in your house, have a party for 4 years, and then they go, here's the mop. I'd be like, no, I don't want. No way would I want to clean up that mess.
No. You know the comic John Mulvaney? Is it John Mulvaney, John Mulaney? He's a comic. He's a real funny comic, and he talks about Trump is like there's a horse loose in the hospital. He said that's what it's like. Yeah, he said there's a horse in the hospital. I wish you could see it. I don't want it because I won't be able to do the bit any justice. But that's what it's about. And
I'm gonna have to look that up.
Yes,
and that's I'm so blessed to have the ability to meet with all you guys, because with the insight, the humor, when I walk away from, it's enlightened my life, because I came out here under circumstances that weren't so great. And the comedy shows, I started Cleo King's open mic night. Shout out to Cleo King. That woman opened her doors. Cleo gave so many talent and non-talent, but she supported, no matter how bad you are on that stage, she would not allow the audience to do anything but encourage every performer that stepped up on that stage. And, that was how she started her show. We support, we got your back. And she made everyone in the audience do this ritual before the show would start. But that built up an energy within my life that I really can't stress enough. Write yourself a prescription, people. Go to this man's show, April 27th.
You're damn right.
At 7 o'clock at the Ha Ha Club. And you will be delighted.
4712 Lancashire Boulevard, North Hollywood.
And follow this man on Instagram.
Yes, it's DARYL_KAMACK. K-Mac, Daryl K-Mac.
And I want to know how many other people spelled out the whole word underscore. Was it just me when they first started doing that
shit? And wonder why it didn't work.
How my daughter was like, looking at my phone going, Mom, it's not the word underscore. It's the, okay. And it's not pound. Oh, it's hashtag. Gotcha. Yeah. Right.
Yeah. I still say pound sign.
The pound sign,
number
right?
Sign,
a generation.
Yeah.
The pound. Listen, just be glad you're not freaking single. Kudos to your wife. The woman puts up with him. And
32 years.
32 years. See, now that's when my marriage, imagine starting all over again now.
I know, it'd be rough.
It would be rough. Is he smirking?
I don't know. She wasn't too happy when I left tonight, so we'll see when I get back.
It broken up into 3 10-year segments.
Okay, sometimes it works better that way. Yeah, sometimes it works better that way.
There is no, there was a man that I know of. He was talking to a friend of mine saying he's leaving his wife. Yeah, you better. Leaving his wife, 49-year marriage. He's 69. He's like,
where's he going?
I just can't take it. He said he just can't take it any, like that's how long this man, and believe me, everybody that knows this couple is like, they can't believe he's not dead from the amount of stress this woman caused him. And I said, well, don't give up. I mean, there are situations just like a job. Men work all their lives for. They retire and they croak a year. That's true.
Yeah, he'll probably croak the next day after he get his finalized divorce.
She already did.
Died the next day.
49 years. She's done her job.
He's dead already anyway.
He's just dead inside, right?
He's dead inside anyway. He's just a shell. He didn't even know it.
Yep.
It's like
dead man walking. Yeah, right. Yeah, right.
Dead doesn't even know it.
That's it.
I see dead people.
Funny. Yeah. But I would think, that statement when he was saying, I'm just done. And I thought, to myself, because who am I to say, if you didn't know before you were done? But see, he had the blessing. He goes on tour. He's a musician. So he's on tour a lot. That marriage probably would have been over a long time ago if he wasn't on the road as much as he was. Because he must, when a man is packing his suitcase, humming zippity-doo-dah, ladies, you've got a problem, right?
Right.
No, honey, I don't need my shorts. I won't be in them that long. Zippity-doo-dah. Yeah, I mean, I really, 32 years, that's something to say, though. But you're not like... You would have to say you're not like a guy on the road like Stewie Kenyatta was in there and he said, I take my wife on the road with me. And he came right out and said, if I couldn't stay faithful if I didn't take her on the road with me. We know that. And as a team, we work together. And I thought that was such a huge thing for a man to admit.
Yeah.
I mean,
well, at least he knows his limitations.
Right. And for his wife to be okay, I'd be like, man, I stab you.
And then he could just be saying that. Yeah. Who knows? Honey, I got to go get some ice. Go to the ice machine.
It's going to take a while.
Yeah, take a while.
I take it cube at a time, honey. Cube at a time.
You've been going for 45 minutes.
Damn ice is already melted.
Yeah. So believe me. If he have that much problem, he's struggling.
Right.
You know, anytime I'm away from her, he's struggling. So I'm sure that, honey, you don't have to go to the show tonight. I'll meet you. I'll come back to the room.
She done, now I'm going. That's it. Driver of the getaway car has a whole nother meaning right now, doesn't it?
That's too hard. That would be too hard. If it would be that difficult for me to stay faithful, I wouldn't be married.
Right. Well.
I wouldn't be married.
Right?
It was that difficult. I just commit myself to lying all the time.
Yeah, that's no fun either.
No,
man, you die young doing that shit.
Yeah, that's too hard.
Did I say Thursday? Maybe I meant Friday. Did I say Friday? What'd I tell the bitch? I got to write this shit down. I can't remember. Yeah. Oh, you were busy, were you? I love how that they play because like
too much work, man.
It is too much work. I have to give a shout out. I posted today. Troy in LA did a sketch, and it was called "Uncomfortable," meaning when you just meet, the guy's not comfortable yet, and they show this how it all plays out, and then he compares it to when the man gets comfortable. So on point. So hilarious. I'm surprised all the guys aren't going, man, what are you trying to get us all killed? Because it's that much truth in it, right? Yeah, bitches are going to be like, if they wanted to appeal to women, there isn't a woman that isn't going to see that isn't in a term relationship, that isn't going to post, repost, and post, send it to a friend, send it to a... Yeah, this is what the ad... See?
Yeah, somebody needs to kick his ass.
Yeah, it's Troy, you're going to get your ass kicked. Right?
It's like Steve Harvey,
You ain't going to be Troy in L.A.
Think like a man.
Right?
After he's
right?
You know what I'm saying?
Everybody wanted to kill him.
Time, right?
He's going to be not
So he's going to give up the game now that he done got remarried. And,
Oh, that's so fun. Yeah, true, right? Like, isn't there a man code?
Yeah, and he's totally broken it. Totally.
Well, listen, next week we're going to have... Hey, thank you guys for joining us. It's me, Annamarie, Instagram, Annamarie Polcaro. I always forget to say that. Please come to see me at the Ice House, 7 o'clock show, April 20th. And Daryl, get a catch of him. Thank you so much for being on my show.
Thank you for having me.
And we're going to do this again next week. Got me a woman coming on. Woohoo! Take it home. Yahweh Poetic on iTunes and Spotify. Take it out with Big Tipper.
Yeah, I'm a big tipper. I'm a tipper. I'm a big. This ain't a rap game that I object. That's a low blow. Singing copycatting off each other. That's a no-no.